The inspiration for this Sunday's video actually is because I have been wearing this watch right here. I don't know if you can see that, for the past week or so, and I've had this for coming up to around 5 years now, and it has a really special story. But what this video is actually about, bottom line, is how to actually pick out the right opportunities that come your way, and also how to actually manage the inevitable sense of FOMO after you pick the opportunities and realize like all of the ones that you've missed, right? So back to the story of this watch. This watch is actually a sample from the first business that me and a very, very good friend of mine actually started when we were 16. It was one of those businesses where, when you're a kid, you create an Instagram page, you order some samples, and then you realize like just how much work it needs, and then you kind of give up. It was pretty much like this, right? And back then, obviously, we didn't understand the true potential of direct-to-consumer e-commerce, especially in like the men's accessory space. I mean, like, this literally looks exactly like a watch by like Movement or Vincero or whatever. And if we really did stick with it, I'm sure our net worths would be in the multi-7 if not 8 figures by now, simply because I know the founders of Movement, they exited for 100 million, and me and that really close friend of mine, we both are relentless fans when it comes to working. So anyways, and that kind of got me thinking about business and founder fit, along with managing the inevitable amount of FOMO that comes along with this. So another reason why I'm making this video now is because I feel like it's incredibly relevant, since this year crypto has made some people absolutely nuclear returns, right? Nuclear returns. If you're not in crypto by now, no doubt you're feeling a sense of FOMO, and it just kind of got me thinking, right? And this video, I really want to talk about how to actually pick the right opportunities for you specifically, and also then how to manage the sense of FOMO that comes along with realizing like all of the opportunity costs that you have missed. By the way, this video is by no means saying that I'm like an expert at this. I mean, my experiences are definitely very limited, and I could be wrong about everything. I always like to make this disclaimer in videos simply because, man, I really hate those people online that like makes it seem like every concept they say is original and comes from them. What I'm about to say is probably not original. It's probably been said before. In fact, I've probably heard it from someone that I've just forgot where I've kind of sourced the information. But anyways, you see, what I've come to believe over the last year or so is that when opportunities arise, sometimes, you're just simply not prepared for it, and you're not up to the task of taking advantage of that specific opportunity. And there's actually nothing you can do except preparing harder next time for the next time that an opportunity arises. You just want to make sure that you're up to the task and you're prepared. And also another thing is, not every good opportunity is actually good for you. So for example, I know most of you guys following me are aspiring service providers, let's just be honest. And maybe on the off chance that you are an actual e-com founder, in which case, amazing, we'd love to work with you. Link in the description below. Thing is, whilst things like crypto, e-com, being a service provider are all amazing opportunities, it just might not be the right fit for you at the end of the day. Hell, maybe you're not even the right fit for being an entrepreneur to begin with. You just had this like carrot kind of dangled over your head of like the elusive laptop lifestyle and all this other crap about passive income and all this other stuff, where, to be honest, like most people just aren't really cut out for it, and it wouldn't lead to them being extremely happy. What I'm trying to allude to is something known as product founder fit, which is basically like product market fit except with founders. What I mean by this is certain people are just more geared towards playing certain roles within businesses or founding certain products. For example, the skill set required to take a business from 0 to 10k is vastly different to the skill set required to taking a business from 10 to like $1 million a month. And I feel like the example that perfectly encapsulates this is actually a TikTok that I saw made by the founder of Twitch, Justin Kan, where he got asked the question, do you regret selling Twitch?
Do I regret selling Twitch?
And he said absolutely not. And his response, I feel like, is the perfect encapsulation of like founder product fit, in the sense that he said in the video, he might not have been the right person to actually take Twitch from the $1 billion valuation to the $20 billion valuation. So because there's that level of uncertainty there, there's no point in regretting the action of actually selling to Amazon. And this is really cool because I see a lot of this with, people in the agency space in particular, particular where they either maybe regret the niche that they picked, or maybe they kind of like invest really heavily into their own agency education and then simply realize that, you know, running an agency isn't for them, or maybe running a dropshipping business isn't for them because they don't like certain aspect of the managerial aspect of things, and they would much rather work in a static role within an organization, for example. And that's totally okay. If you weren't cut out to be an entrepreneur, or if that's not what's truly going to make you happy, please don't do it. So you see, the thing that kills most businesses is actually not, you know, the founder not really knowing what to do, but it's actually complacency. The reason that is because most people start a business for a means to an end. And if you do it like that, over time, your motivation to innovate is going to die. And if there's no innovation within a certain business for an extended period of time, the business will die. And this is where, you know, product founder fit is super important. I mean, if you're just doing a business for short-term cash flow, sure, go ahead. But if you really want to build something that will sustain you for 5, 10, 20 years, this is where you really need to pay attention. You not only need to have the skill set to actually execute on whatever idea that you have, but you also really need to have the passion and the kind of like love for the business that you're running. And that passion, in my opinion, can stem from two places. You can either be super passionate about the problem that you're solving. For example, I don't know, if you're trying to solve like world hunger or whatever, you could really get passionate about that, right? Or you can get super passionate about the people that you're actually helping. So for example, one of my clients that I took on this year, I actually took him on for paid traffic as well. I was very adamant about not signing any more paid traffic clients this year, but because I was so passionate about helping that brand specifically, I allowed him to sign with us for paid traffic as well. So in summary, when it comes to finding product founder fit, in my opinion, you need two things. You need to be either, you need to possess the skill set required to actually execute on the idea, and you either need to be super passionate about the problem that you're solving or the people that you're serving. And this is why most giant, like I'm talking like behemoths of companies like Facebook, Apple, etc. start off as kind of like garage passion businesses and like hobbyist side projects, because the founders were super passionate about creating a specific vision for themselves that they were able to work on it even without any returns in sight. So when it comes to selecting the right opportunities for you, what I've come to realize, at least for myself, is I really need to be picking opportunities that play to my strengths first of all, but also actually go for things that I'm truly interested in and have like this inherent obsession with. Because I don't know if it's like, if I'm just like have some sort of OCD, but whatever I do day to day, I get really obsessed by it, and it's literally like all I can think about for the entire day. So for me going forward, I've only kind of like picked areas where I'm super interested in, and to be honest, right now I just don't really care about like the potential upside in terms of monetary compensation, right? I mean, bottom line, if you've been watching my videos for a while now, especially like the most recent ones, you probably think I have like this really pessimistic view of like entrepreneurship, because I've been telling people repeatedly like, don't get into the agency space if you don't want to, if you don't really feel committed or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from being an entrepreneur. I just think that, in fact, quite the opposite. I actually want to encourage it. I think that there needs to be more kind of like innovators in the world. But what I am trying to just give you a picture of is like the realistic image of, hey, this is like what running a business actually looks like, and this is what building yourself up looks like. Because I genuinely think most beginners in this space, the reason why they flop and the reason why my kind of like coaching record and my consulting record has been so good is just because I set expectations stupidly clear from the get-go. And that's why my students and mentees are able to like really persist, because I don't sign the wrong people, you have to understand. So yeah, I just want people to kind of like enter with the whole picture in mind, as opposed to only like a fraction of the truth, which is basically just the highlights. Now, you might be wondering, you know, Boyan, how do I actually know what I'm passionate about, and how do I actually play to my strength? Well, when it comes to finding what you're really passionate about, you just need to try out a bunch of things. You've probably heard this a million times already from kind of like different people, either on the internet or in real life. It's like, when you're under the age of like 35 or 40, just like go all out, try anything that you want. That's why it's now, even if I were to shut my agency down within like the next 3 months, I know I'll be able to pivot into something else and excel at that, simply because I've built so many kind of like transferable skills when it comes to running my own agency. But anyways, I digress. So when it comes to finding out your passions, try the things things that you are especially uncomfortable with, right? Or maybe even just try things for the sake of trying them. Don't even go into it with any kind of like preconceived notions of whether you will like it or not. Because I think there's actually a lot of value in trying things that you don't like on purpose. Because at the end of the day, you never know if you like something or not until you try it. Try something new and realize you hate it, because that's where you know you don't want to end up. For example, I've had experiences in my life where I literally worked myself into depression, and that really ingrained a very, very strong image in my mind of where I don't want to be. Therefore, I now kind of have an idea of where I want to be, because humans, at the end of the day, we're psychologically wired to maintain like a certain level of like comfort, right? We're not designed to kind of like push ourselves above and beyond our boundaries and capabilities, which is why if you always try to find things that you're super passionate about and kind of like chase your interests, in my opinion, you don't get as far as if you were to kind of like chase what brings you the most pain. The reason why that is because as people, we generally tend to not really try and focus on achieving our dreams, but more so just maintain a standard that we're kind of comfortable with. So to actually elevate yourself to the point where you're able to achieve your dreams, you have to actually just increase that lowest standard for yourself. And to do so, you really just need to have a really, really vivid image of where you don't want to be. For example, like summer 2019, I literally worked myself into depression. And now I know, okay, let me not do that again, because that was genuinely a really painful experience. I don't want to have to go through that again. But without that kind of like image, I'm sure I would have not been able to like rocket past my potential growth curves over the past year or so. And when it comes to identifying your strengths and being able to play to those, the thing is, most people just kind of, in my opinion, lack the self-esteem and the self-awareness to be able to actually identify what their strengths are. Because if you really think about it, I'm sure if I asked 5 out of 10 of you this question of like, hey, what are you really good at? Most likely the common answer would be, I don't really know, or I don't really think I have anything that I'm super good at. And whatever reason you might attribute that to, maybe it's your own laziness, or maybe you just say, oh, I'm not good at this because I'm so young and I'm still inexperienced. Bottom line, you just don't have the self-esteem or the self-awareness to kind of like identify what you're strong at, because everyone has something that they're good at. So to gain that self-esteem, you just kind of need to try new things and gain competence in something. And then from there, maybe through many hours of journaling and meditation, you can identify what your actual strengths are, and then just start playing to those, you know? When I say strengths, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm super good at email marketing. No, idiot, right? No one's born an email marketer. That's like a skill that you can learn. What I'm saying is, maybe naturally you're like an analytics guy, or maybe you're naturally like a creative guy. Really identify what your innate talent is, and then just play to those strengths when it comes to business. Eventually, after you try enough things, you'll be able to develop either a sense of what you hate or a sense of what you really enjoy. And then you can use that data as feedback to make future pivots and decisions, and in my opinion, that's the best way to kind of go about it. So bottom line, pick opportunities that you're passionate about, pick problems and help people that you're really passionate about, and also help people in a way that really plays to your strengths. Hope you enjoyed this video.